Hello, this is General Waffle. This is the Breakfast Brigade. Today I got a ranked Hero League match with Valla. I was third pick in this match, and we did not have any damage. Our Johanna was our last pick. Zeratul was our first pick, but he's not really sustained damage. So, I'm more of an old school Valla player. I played her a lot in the alpha and the beta, and not so much in current times. So I really go with the old school type of auto attack build. The main difference between this build and the older build is that instead of Syrian attacks, you used to pick up the battle momentum, and it was really good. Also used to pick up strafe. I won't be picking up strafe for multiple reasons. So, whenever I do an auto attack build, I like to make sure I don't have strafe, because when you're strafing, you're not auto attacking. But our team doesn't have a whole lot of crowd control, so I really wanted to pick up Rain of Vengeance to deal with that, to give our team some extra buffer, some backline to me. Really, I'm the one that needs a lot of protection. But they have a Lieutenant Morales, and if you haven't really seen much of her around, she's really, really dangerous if you don't harass her. She's really squishy, so she's really easy to get assassinated and get taken down real quick. But if she's allowed to heal, it's ridiculous how much healing she can output in a single fight. So here, just fighting Sonya, which is always difficult because you want to poke at her, but she does so much damage, especially in the early game. And I just go up here to check this, and she wasn't here, but there she is, and boom. That was more damage than I was expecting. Yeah. It also used to be that you were able to vault out of anything, and that's not the case any longer. So I got hit while vaulting, and it just stopped me in my tracks. So they did get the coins up top too, so we are gathered around the turn-in now to try to stop them from turning in. Sonya will be able to get away, and I mostly just come down here and try to get that XP advantage going. But then I see that the team needs me, and they're pinging a lot. Pings are very effective for getting people to do what you want. And I know that I need to move up here. So, let's go right on Raynor. He's their big, scary damage dealer. And a lot of people are going after Murden or running away. It's understandable. They're going to have a lot of people that get really low. Jim Raynor is really hard to contend with as Valla, simply because he has that passive heal, and it makes trading with him impossible in the early game. Once you talent up, you can actually trade Jim Raynor down by yourself. Yeah, it's pretty nice. That's what I'm going for. The reason I chose for this auto attack build is because their big front line is Murden and Karazin and Sonya. And they're all scary, but if I vault away from them, they don't have additional gap closers to get to me. And I should be able to just actually lay down a lot of damage. That Jim Raynor passive is really good. The Adrenaline Boost, I believe it's called. So my game plan is just to stay far back and attack whoever's closest. Because I know that I can output a lot of damage if they let me. And I feel like we have a setup where we can, especially with the Johanna tank. I'm really counting on Zeratul to deal with Morales. I think the whole team is. And also we have a Tyrande. Tyrande got some changes in the last patch. And she actually heals now. It's really nice. So just still trying to get that experience down bottom, trying to hold this down against Jim Raynor. And yeah, if anything, I know Valla. I actually roll because he could have killed me there if he didn't accidentally auto-attack a minion. But, yeah. Valla does a lot of damage if you're alone, so just trying to get a sneak kill like that is really difficult. Especially if you're that low of health. It's just kind of one of those things that the more you practice and learn, the more you know about how much you can go in. Like, I knew that I was safe because Jim Raynor couldn't burst me with the auto-attack Q auto-attack combo. It's not really much of a combo, but since you're kind of stun-locked into it, it kind of is. Whatever you want to make of it. Here, just trying to generate some pressure on the map. The new chests are spawned now. So getting those minions to charge down bottom is pretty good. We have a bad time this game so far responding to these chests. They already got it by the time we got there, but Karazim with his 4 attacks per second is able to clean up the chest pretty easily. So here we're just, again, trying to contest this. They have enough coins to return in, and we just need to make sure they don't turn them in. So here, if you ever want to play somebody like Valla or Jim Raynor, learn how to auto-attack and move the stutter step. 'Cause that's how you like go further on positioning. Like, learning positioning is really important, but learning how to stutter step like that is probably more important on Valla. Jim Raynor probably not as important because Jim Raynor just is so much tankier. Valla, especially auto-attack Valla, does her damage over time, and you need every second you can get to live through the fight. Vampiric Assault only helps so much. So again, this is an auto-attack build, so I do pick up that Syrian attacks. Right now, this is actually a really good talent to go for, because you can get a lot of surprise kills. Because people don't realize that you go for this build, because not a lot of people pick it. And it's still very viable, in my opinion, especially now that Kel'Thas has fallen off a lot. Like, this is a ranked match without a Kel'Thas or a Jaina. This is what the world's come to. I remember you couldn't get in a ranked match or a quick match without encountering one or both. If it was ranked, it was definitely both. So here, just trying to come in, help the team. And I make a really fatal mistake in this fight. So typically, you want to save your Syrian attacks till you can get your hatred stacks up, that way you'll have more attack speed. However, I forgot to use Syrian attacks, and Jim Raynor was able to get away with like 1 auto attack worth of health. I don't know how much you know. That was just awful. That was all my fault. Like, we wouldn't have won the team fight, but Jim Raynor would be dead right now, and it wouldn't sting so badly. Like, look what he's doing now. He's pushing down our... He's pushing down our towers. And Zeratul is having kind of a lot of trouble taking down Morales this game. She's being really safe, which is what you want to do on Morales, and we're just not able to get to her. Like here, I finally try to close the distance and I just get pushed back. And those block charges are doing a lot of work there. Here, again, just knowing those limits. I'm trying to stay in the fight as long as I can without dying. Because I know that my vampiric attacks will actually sustain me a lot through the fight. Now here, Raynor makes the bad mistake of coming at me while I had my level 10. Valla's Reign of Vengeance is far superior in a 1v1 than the Hyperion. If he didn't have anybody else around, he would have been dead. Even through his healing. There he comes back to tempt fate and dies for his hubris at least. Some good news coming out. Karazim was not able to save him. He did go for the 7-side strike instead of the Divine Palm. I don't really know why. His team has a lot of damage already. It doesn't seem like a very good ability. Like, the Divine Palm would have been a lot better. It would have saved his Morales in situations where she may have died. And it would have given Jim Raynor another health bar. One of those things. But he did go for that 7-side strike, and it works out okay for him. If you get guaranteed damage out of it, it's nothing. You never have enough damage. Although, their team is kind of outvaluing us on the back of their survival. And this is what they're kind of relying on, is surviving harder than we can put out damage. And I really think Divine Palm would have helped their team out a lot more. But again, chests are just moving up to the mid lane to get these chests. Zeratul was pushed out. And I have no interest in fighting with this little mana. Here our team's kind of talking about things that went wrong. Yeah, we should have not stayed in nearly as long as we did. And I was trying to recall, but the team went in, and you kind of have to follow your team, or else it would have ended up worse. It doesn't mean suicide for your team. I stayed on the very far outskirts and did what I could. Just telling my team. It was really pointless to tell them that, just because it's no longer relevant. But you don't always have those seconds that you need to type that kind of stuff in-game while actions are going on, but I probably should have tried. So, enemy team, got the typical turn-in. We're down a fort on them. It's not really a big deal since we have comparable HP. Jim Raynor getting caught out a little bit, but Morales is there to keep him alive. With Morales and his passive healing, he is just so hard to take down. Especially for someone like me. Yeah, your Murden did a really ballsy play, and I messed up my tumble. I didn't know I was going to get the Uther shield, so my stun was kind of wasted, or the Uther Divine shield was wasted. Either way, we wasted an ultimate. And now that Murden's dead, everyone's pinging to go for the boss. I think it's a bad idea, but I just decided to stick around. The enemy team is trying to turn in. And picking up Giant Killer feels a little bit bad. Murden's the only one that I really care to have Giant Killer against. Everyone else is kind of meh. I almost went for the Frost Shot. It may have been better. Just to keep them from closing distance harder, but I just wanted that a little extra damage boost. Now, if anything else is a little bit more damage. Here that Void Prison was able to keep everyone out of the fight that we needed to keep out. We were just able to tear them apart. If Morales is not there to heal, is not actively healing, then it's so easy for us to come in and just kill them. It's such a linchpin for their team. So now that we just blew all those abilities, we know that they have 2 down, and they know what we're doing, but we think we can just take this boss. I end up popping a lot of stuff for it, and it turns out to be a bad idea. So I popped Searing Attacks just to kill it faster, which... Oh, and Hungering Arrow. But then Jim Raynor comes in, and... Yeah, this is just ridiculous. I thought his passive popped, and it didn't. And then... Wow. Morales just barely being able to live. Zeratul just coming very short of killing Morales. I should have tried to move forward, or tumble forward, and kill Morales. That was really my bad on that one. But I had thought that Jim Raynor didn't have his passive healing. And I thought I could outdamage the healing of Morales, but I cannot, I found out. This is my first match I played against Morales as auto attack Valla. So, learning, I guess. Yeah. She did pick up block instead of the trauma trigger, so that's actually really annoying for our team. Trauma trigger is normally really good on Lieutenant Morales against someone bursty like Zeratul, because they'll try to burst her and she'll get that 50% damage reduction for free. But the block's working just as good against me and against Zeratul. So chests are spawning again. I know that they're all over the bottom one. The team doesn't really seem to know what we're doing right now. We're all disjointed. Zeratul finally starts to attack a chest, so we all kind of go up there. Oh! Yeah, this is the all is lost moment. I mean, they're level 16, they took a boss, I face-checked a Muradin. I mean, things are bad. Like, I was prepared to face-check one person. If there was 2 people in there, I would have died. But I kind of took my chances. There I go really hard on Jim Raynor, and he did go down. But that's all that really happened. Luckily, Jim Raynor is the majority of their damage. Their other damage source, Sonya, kind of getting stuck on terrain. Zeratul coming just south of killing that Morales. puts her in the void. She walks herself in the void prison, and he chooses to kill her and die with her. Now it's everybody's coming up on Murden. He does pop that healing, and it will sustain him while we're forced to run away. Yeah, it's not looking good. Really beautiful stun by Tyrande. And I feel like they misclicked somewhere or something, but Uther managed to live. We all managed to live. Well, I didn't. I died for Jim Raynor. Basically killed each other as far as everything is concerned. So it was an even 2-2 trade, which isn't bad when you're behind and it's past 15 minutes. Though I don't think any of the kills happened past 15 minutes. Yep, you gotta get that underdog XP if you're behind. So Tyrande is playing with fire here. And you can just see how much damage that Sonya was able to do in just one hit. Really strong with that Wrath of Berserker. But she did overextend and overcommit to that, and she did die for it. So now it's just time to come in here and start taking camps. I did elect to go for the Stone Skin, by the way, because I didn't figure that... Like, mobility hasn't been an issue for me this game. I haven't needed 2 tumbles. Normally my problem is I'm being forced to trade people, and I'm losing the trades. So I'm just trying to get that added protection against Jim Raynor. And also Murden to an extent. Just having a little bit of extra beef helps a lot. Jim Raynor getting caught out of position, getting slowed, shrink raid. He had no hope. Now we've finally taken it. We've taken the momentum of the game. Now, a lot of this game really is momentum rather than advantage. And what I mean by that is, they have 1 down, and now we basically have until Jim Raynor comes back to do what we want. Like, I come up here and I just start taking this. Like, I know nobody's going to be up here. They were all bottom. It's basically a free chest. The monk does come up, but he's not going to accomplish much. I didn't pop Searing Attack because I didn't think I'd need it. Too good to use Syndrome. Yeah, like, if we were more coordinated, we could have actually done a lot of good here. But we didn't react fast enough. Morales and Murden will go down, but that could have been a lot cleaner. But like I was saying about the whole momentum thing, a lot of this game really comes to being able to do actions and take objectives. If you have people down, you can't really go out and take objectives. So that gives you the momentum. Killing people in very segmented fashions means that they have to wait more and more time before they can actually contest you. This is really good for dealing with teams when you're behind. If you can pick one person out, even though your team's behind, you have the momentum of the match to go and complete more objectives, and this will drive your team ahead. Now, I think I've talked about that for right now. We did lose a keep in the bottom lane to minions, and it feels really, really, really bad. Yeah. That was just dumb. Also, I quickly find out that I can't tank these. Back in the olden days of the alpha, you would have been able to sit there and just cast your multi-shot like it's nobody's business. It would have been a lot faster. I really miss battle momentum on Valla. Like, it was good that they removed it, but I'm really sad. So speaking of momentum, there's a coin on the ground. Just up there. They missed it. The team missed it. And I can't grab it. It turns out they were doing boss, but if they were at the turn-in to contest us, I would have been late and the team would have lost the team fight. You really need to consider these things, especially in a fairly organized fashion such as Hero League ranked. Yeah. Just the moments that it would take to divert my path to pick up that coin could have lost a team fight. Kind of weird to think about. But we did manage to pick up the coin anyway, and this boss isn't really going to do anything but take up our time, which is perfectly fine for the enemy, because they were able to get that turn in. That turn in to me was kind of already a thing that was going to happen. I was pretty certain they were going to get it. So I guess I would rather have it happen sooner than later, but it happened, and now we just need to avoid the next one. All we need to do is make sure that we stay together. This is the important part of this point of the game, when we have 0 keeps left, is that we actually act smartly. More smarter. Like, if we try to go off and somebody gets taken down, this is what loses games. It's these little things, like stacking up. Like, these 3 keeps down won't by itself lose us the game. But a team fight like this might. So I walked right up to Murden, and I actually managed to get away thanks to all my stone skin nonsense and the Uther healing. But then I was stunned and could not tumble out of that situation. I should have tumbled earlier, but I didn't. So it was a really disjointed team fight where we were really disorganized and we were all just kind of trying to rush to a location, and we do lose the game from it. Yeah, if that's a spoiler at this point, I don't know what to say to you. Yeah, but that is going to be the game. Auto attacked Valla, I will stand by that as the best build for Valla until something really overpowered happens with the other builds. Also, I really like it, despite the fact that in League of Legends I really hated playing ranged marksmen. I think that's what they're called now. ADCs. Still rank 1 though, because I have a lot of points. Apparently you just keep gaining points, and then eventually you can lose them, and I found this out the hard way, of just doing really dumb things in ranked. But most damage, nobody should be surprised there. That's gonna be it for this video. Till next time.